life is about new experiences. And this certainly is one of them.
Meek. Don't worry, guys. Meek's a bit of a transphobe.
Well, we got the trailer for the new Thor movie, Love and Thunder, featuring the MCU in full force. The Thor is the butt of every joke and a bumbling idiot that we now know. Now, look, a lot of people, and I think fairly point out that the first couple of standalone Thor movies were thought of by some as boring, and that the jokes, like the goofy Thor, is a good meme. I agree with that. I just think, you know, with the success that they had with Ragnarok, they've just cranked it up to 11, and I kind of miss like Thor being like kind of BA. You know, he has his moments here and there, which I guess is cool. It kind of balances, but I wish that Thor wasn't so much the butt of the joke all the time. But that's kind of the modern MCU. And in this film, we see a couple of scenes, which I think, and by the way, here's what I think about these movies now. You know, a lot of my peers, you know, they just really hate everything that comes out of Marvel. I don't, my position is this, and I said this last night on Twitter too. You know, after Endgame, you know, Marvel movies just didn't hit the same for me. People complain about the CGI, but my eyeball doesn't really pick it up. Like a lot of people say, oh, the CGI is bad. I don't know. My eyeballs just don't pick that up. I just think that for me, the formulaicness of Marvel movies and the zero stakes of Marvel movies makes me uninterested. If I'm supposed to be emotionally invested, you know, at the end of Civil War, when all these characters disappear, it's such like a big moment. And then it's like, everyone's back. Ha 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 ha. Or like, you know, people sacrificing themselves in the movie. They're back. Ha 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 ha. Like, I can't take that because like, I like to get invested in a character, especially some of the characters that a lot of us have watched for more than 10 years. And then the idea, and I understand, look, the multiverse is a thing and blah, 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 and that's fine. But I also don't want to just be negative for negative sake, meaning I'm not here to like tut down my nose at my viewers who want to just go buy a bucket of popcorn and turn off their brain for 2 hours. There are lots of people that watch movies like Fast and Furious or Marvel that really enjoy them. They're not saying they're masterpieces, but they look forward to them because they deliver whatever it is that they're asking for. And, you know, I don't think it pays to really make my viewers feel bad about liking that. I mean, I like Paul Blart Mall Cop. To me, it's, you know, my interest in Disney and Marvel more is around the hypocrisy, maybe some of the things the actors and actresses do, how Disney deals with China, and this particular issue with Thor, which I thought was pretty like nakedly hypocritical. We've seen for years many articles, and I'll provide the receipts for you here. Here's one from July 4th, 2021. Marvel Studios making conscious efforts not to objectify women, says Black Widow maker. Marvel movies have come a long way in female representation, as Black Widow producer Victorino Alonso states that conscious efforts are being made to not to objectify women. In a recent interview with Time, Alonso stated how Marvel is making deliberate steps to demystify the myths associated with females in superhero movies. The action-packed spy thriller, blah, 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 don't care. Mentioning how he felt bothered by the introduction of Johansson's character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he went on to tell Time about how he had constantly bothered him that she was not a, quote, thing, and also mentioned how the world misjudges attractive women, thinking that her beauty is all she has to give. Fine, okay? Put it on, knit it into a little crochet thing, put it on a towel, a dish towel, and impress your lady friends, all right? That's fine, okay? But again, there are endless articles written about this. Black Widow producer says Marvel Studios is making an effort not to objectify women in the MCU. How about this? This is July 6th. Marvel Studios is actively working to not objectify the MCU's female characters, right? This, again, every shirtless Thor shot, all these shirtless Marvel superheroes, DC, we have Jason Momoa, who's never wearing a shirt. All this, you never hear boo about it. And, it's interesting to me how the internet has reacted to the latest Thor Love and Thunder trailer. There's a section, again, yeah, it's funny. I'm not offended by it. I'm only pointing out that, the people that pretend to be with the women are eerily silent right now. So there's a scene in the movie where, Thor becomes disrobed, potentially. And I'm going to show you Pink News, okay? This is a website that it perpetuates outrage about microaggressions and things of that nature. And I will say there were some outlets. Remember when Fat Thor was the butt of the joke? Nobody cared that the white male was now the butt of every joke, but they cared that the joke was him being out of shape. And there was actually some even outrage on that. Again, ridiculous, but all I ask is for you to be consistent. In this, people are openly thirsting all over it on the internet and talking about how amazing it is, when we all know that if this was a woman, they'd be flipping their lids. New Thor Love and Thunder trailer sees the God of Thunder, stripped and tied up. There's a training montage where we see Thor go from his dad bod to God bod to reclaim his title as the one and only Thor. But comically, his former flame, Jane Foster, appears just in time to steal his title as the mighty Thor. What? Isn't that fitting? Yes, I know, the lore. It's fine, okay? What? I like Jane Foster and I like Natalie Portman, okay? I do. So, there's that. One moment in the trailer left fans with their collective jaws on the floor. Thor loses his clothes in the final moment of the clip. A cloaked Thor is presented before the Council of Gods at Olympus, where Zeus, played by Russell Crowe, reigns supreme. Let's see who you are, take off your disguise, Zeus says, and flicks off Thor's costume to find out who he is. But he flicks too hard and takes all of Thor's clothes, giving fans a very pixelated look at the God of Thunder's assets. Now here's the part. Here's the part where it becomes objectification, right? All of the ladies in attendance faint, and Korg perks up from his seat in the corner. A very buff, CGI buff, Jane asks Valkyrie, Tessa Thompson, if they should help him. And the new king of Asgard admits they will, quote, eventually, before offering Jane a grape as they watch the shenanigans. Overwhelmed fans quickly took to social media to share their reaction to the revealing scene and dreamed about the prospect of seeing an uncensored version. I mean, this is like literal objectification, but it's okay because of this man. At no point in this article did they point that out, right? Taika said, let's give the gays everything they want, and then proceeded to strip Thor and tie him up with golden chains. Iconic. We finally got the bare all Thor. This is automatically the best MCU ever. So first it was Hulk's rear, and now it's Thor's. Taika, is there anything you'd like to confess? Dear Marvel, I was going to see Thor Love and Thunder, whether Chris had his shirt off or not, but to make him bare all, well, all I can say is I forgive you for Thor the Dark World. Just blatant objectification, right? Okay, but I simply love Korg's reaction to seeing Thor. Yes, Korg was, yes. The trailer introduces fans to Gore the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale, who basically looks exactly like Voldemort. Now, to be fair, his character, like in the comic books, did bear some resemblance, but there were some things like the tentacles or whatever that they could have added that didn't look exactly like Voldemort. But I think it's funny that nobody says anything. Here's Digital Spy. Thor's reveals a Loki tribute, it's definitely caught fans' eyes. No articles about, oh, look at all this, selling all these Funky Pops for them, for those consumers. There's nothing wrong with liking Marvel movies. I almost always make time to watch them. For me, it's about just waiting till I can stream them or paying matinee prices for them. The luster of like going opening weekend is gone. I was excited for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I did not think it was very good. I'm not going to say it was a terrible movie, but like to me, Marvel movies are either a 6, 7, or an 8. It's very rare for them to just be awful like the Eternals. It's very rare for them to be very good, like say Infinity War or something like that. They're usually 6, 7, or 8s. So, could this Thor movie be an 8? Yes, it could. Certainly, we know that Marvel wants to make all the strong independent women who don't need no man. We all know that Marvel does like to push this kind of stuff out on social media, and then once it hits the big screen, it's different. Remember when we all thought Captain Marvel was going to have some huge role in Endgame, and she had like 3 minutes of screen time? So, I'm not going to get all worked up out of shape about that, but I do think it's important to point out the obvious hypocrisy of these media articles not pointing out that his like body is being objectified for the purpose of the joke. I don't care, but we all know if it was Valkyrie up there or Natalie Portman, people would be outraged. I hope you enjoyed this video though, and we'll talk to you again real soon.